Hi, I'm Megan. I am a twin flame relationship coach, and I am in union with my twin flame. And if you are feeling alone on this twin flame journey, I'm here to let you know that you are not alone. And I am doing a video topic this time on divine masculine and divine feminine. And I'm here to debunk the stereotype. I'm not going to go so far as to say these energies are a myth, but I'm here to debunk the stereotype of divine feminine and divine masculine belonging to one or the other twin flame. And this stereotype that the divine masculine's always the runner and the divine feminine's always the chaser. And also, there's a misconception that, as well, it's all related, that if you have a male and female twin flame, which I specify because I have met lesbian and gay twin flame couples, like, let's not pretend like it's just a straight person thing. That'd be weird. But anyway, if you have a man and a woman in twin flame relationship, that the divine masculine is male and the divine feminine is female, and that's not always the case either. So I wanted to break this down, and I think that what's interesting about the subject is, first of all, I am in twin flame union, and I would say most of the time when my twin flame and I are assuming more of a divine feminine or divine masculine role, because when one of us does, the other will have that polar energy to, in this case, to complement the other. When we are in those roles, I'm usually divine masculine. And by the way, my twin flame will probably say I'm wrong, but I'll tell you why. So let's picture a twin flame couple who are trying to be a couple, but there's still this runner and chaser dynamic going on. That was me and my twin flame in the first few months, I would say, of being together, or trying to be together, and, being together, but not very harmoniously. And anyway, it was a connection that we knew we had, we knew was special, but took a lot of work, and it was hard, and there were times that there was, I was running. Now so the divine masculine is usually the one who runs, and the divine feminine is usually one that chases. I found that typically to be true. However, I want to say this as a whole on the subject, that it's not necessarily the goal for the divine masculine, divine feminine to be a rigid concept within the twin flame union. And that's where the debunking comes in. If you're finding that you're always a chaser, the divine feminine, and they're always the runner, the dynamic will continue if your energies don't change. And okay, so here's an overall picture. Divine masculine, divine feminine. Bottom line is this, and then this will help me piece it together to explain as a whole. The bottom line is divine masculine and divine feminine aren't meant to be labels to put someone in a box. They're meant to describe these energies. Some people describe divine masculine, we hear masculine, feminine energy, not just divine masculine, divine feminine, but masculine and feminine energy. A lot of people don't like using the term masculine and feminine energy because everybody has masculine, feminine energy. So they give it a different name. Masculine is yang, feminine is yin. So me and my partner often talk about yin and yang because we dislike the labels. And my twin flame will swear he's mostly yang and divine masculine. But, I think I have a lot of yang for a woman, and I'm more that. And the truth is, we both have yin and yang. We both have divine feminine and divine masculine. Like, when we step out of our egos and stop having silly arguments about it, because they have just turned silly. It's actually a subject we just don't care to be right about, because it's silly to have an argument about it. But divine masculine. So there was a post that I put up on my page before making this video. And I forget the writer's complete name. Her name is at the bottom. I wanted to give credit. It was very beautiful and was talking about freedom versus love. And I originally saw it shared in a twin flame group, and I couldn't share it, so I had to copy the image, which still gave credit to the writer, which is great. I'm glad she put her name on there. And it was, if you haven't seen it, go to Twin Flame Harmony, my page, my Facebook page, because I can't remember it word for word, but it was talking about freedom and love. And freedom was, now I have to think about this correctly because, again, I don't like the labels, so it's hard for me to keep it straight. But freedom needed love, and love needed freedom. And it was talking about freedom without love and why it was non-productive, I guess, or love without freedom. I believe love without freedom was called attachment, and freedom without love was called escaping. So think of it this way. Freedom is the divine masculine running. Freedom without love, the divine feminine chasing. Freedom without love is escape. Now reverse it. Love without freedom. So I have to imagine it as I'm talking about it. Love without freedom is attachment. So it's that chaser chasing the runner, and the runner's like, this isn't love. This is like obsession, and it's too much. It's intense. It's attachment, and it's not love. And we can think we love someone when we're really exhibiting attachment. And in a twin flame dynamic, it's so intense, the runner will run. And I've seen this happen with relationships in general. Someone who is a chaser is so desperate for that love, that it's like they don't give room for the freedom of that person coming, them being like, yeah, I want to be with you, because the other person's running, being like, oh, you're a little too much. So, okay, back on track though. I thought that was a great illustration. That's why I shared it. But back on track, divine feminine versus divine masculine. I'm going to glance at my notes, make sure I am on track. So I talked about the differences. So divine feminine, divine masculine don't have to be chasers and runners. So if the divine masculine energy is running, they are wounded and unbalanced. So if there's the divine masculine, divine feminine, if you're each taking on those polar opposite roles, that's technically an imbalance, because the goal of the twin flame union or twin flame encounter, twin flame journey, is to heal, and part of healing is balancing out energies. Because if we're unbalanced, then it can cause a lot of disruption, impulsive. I mean, I'm just trying to think of examples of imbalance in the lives, in my own life and people that I've seen. But imbalances can cause you to be unhealthy. Like, it's better to, for example, balance with health. It's better to address health holistically, mind, body, spirit, emotions, rather than just focus on the body. Like, if you've ever met a fad dieter that's not having success, well, they're only focusing on their body, and they're only focusing on their food usually. And that doesn't usually work long term. Well, because holistic success includes holistic approaches. And so that's where we come in with this balance of divine masculine, divine feminine energies. So how does this relate to twin flame? Well, if you've got runner chaser dynamic, it means two things. Again, one, there's no balance right now with the energies. Two, this is how the divine masculine acts out of wounds or fears. They run, they escape. The divine feminine chases out of wounds or fears. They have that anxious attachment. They have this deep need that needs to be filled and they're trying to get it, from someone else, their twin flame. And until part of healing is stepping back with oneself and really asking, and there's so many methods to healing, but this is like a basic first step. What do I need? So many people aren't doing the work to heal because just identifying what we need is one of the hardest parts, and it's the first necessary step. Is it a sense of security? Is it love? If you're looking for attention, what is it? Is it love? Have you looked into your love language? How do you need to be loved? Do you need physical touch? Do you need words of affirmation? Like, do you need that acknowledgement, that the compliments, the I love yous? Are gifts a big part of expressing love or receiving love? Quality time. There's, I think, at least one other main one that is talked about, but these are all things to ponder, and there's so much more to ponder, but it's just examples of, like, if you notice, like, my body, my energy, when I said, okay, coming back and asking, what do I need? Energy just shifted. Because I'm over here inspired, talking. That's great. The energy is appropriate for what it is. But my spine straightened up. My posture felt more relaxed. I slowed my brain down. I slowed my mind down just to pause and say, what do I need right now? And that could be really hard for anyone who's in a wounded fight or flight state, running, stressed out, chasing, whatever. So, okay, divine masculine, divine feminine, they exhibit these traits as runner chaser dynamics. For example, there's examples of other behaviors that are the wounded masculine or wounded feminine that I'm not going to get into right now in this video, but this is one that's really commonly seen, so that's what I'm mentioning. And once you get into a more balanced state with yourself and then into your twin flame relationship, you've both gone through healing. And sometimes it just takes one of you. Like, if one of you goes through healing and you come back and you have new tools to deal with the whatever conflicts you guys are having or whatever is causing the disruption or the triggers to begin with, it can help. When you're in that process of union, the runner-chaser dynamic, the divine masculine, divine feminine dynamic is likely to flip-flop. Like, I've heard people say, oh, it's not going to flip-flop. They're always the runner, and they're always the chaser, and they're always the divine masculine, they're always the divine feminine. But it can. I'm not going to say it always happens, but it can happen, and here's why. You're both in union, or attempting union, right? And you're both, or one or both of you is working on changing your own energy, or you're both individually doing this. It's balancing something out within you. Now the energy in the other twin flame has to shift too. That's why we go on and on about how you can like make sure your twin flame is not part of your physical world, your physical life. But if you go off on your own, forget about your twin flame, and you start elevating and growing and stuff, it's really likely and almost impossible for it not to be true that your twin flame might not be doing the same exact things, but it does affect their energy because you guys are so linked in ways that you won't be linked with anyone else. And that is the difference between twin flame and a soulmate, which is a whole nother subject. But that you guys are one energetically. So you're going to find the similarities before you meet. And you're going to find that even if you work on yourself and they're not doing anything, there will be shifts. Because your energy shifts affect their energy shifts. And that's part of that twin flame, divine masculine, divine feminine. That's why oftentimes one or both of you is working on healing. And sometimes while you're figuring out the balance and you're still working through wounds, traumas, triggers, whatever, the flip-flop can happen. That being said, the healing that is the goal of the twin flame journey, once enough of it's being done and you guys are making progress, whether individually, together, whatever, that causes a healing and a balance. So the whole point is to erode the runner-chaser dynamic completely. And, excuse me, I had an acquaintance who said that they never had the runner-chaser dynamic. And that could be hard to believe, but I believe that's possible. Like, if they were in a place where they were healed enough and then they came together and they were like, okay, not that this wasn't hard for them, but they just didn't have the runner-chaser dynamic. They still had things to work on and triggers to work through. But they said, we knew, we filed divorce, we moved across country, our families are now blended, it's done. That shows some really great faith, and that's not most people's story. That wasn't mine, but it's a great example of the fact that the runner-chaser dynamic doesn't have to happen. You have to, also something to keep in mind with the divine feminine, divine masculine, all you have to do is shift your own energy. So if you refuse to participate, it won't happen. I saw someone who got disappointed because their twin flame reached out to them and they went out and then their twin flame stood them up, so they blocked them. Well, that's their choice. That's fine. But like, it's better to be still. If union is your goal, balance, healing, and union is your goal, because I'm not going to say it's everyone's, but that's who I'm speaking to, is it's better to be still than to make those rash, well, I'm not going to let them reach out to me again. They really pissed me off, and whatever it is, because the less reactive we become, you're no longer engaging in this dynamic, wounded dynamic. Somebody has to be wounded. You both have to be wounded to engage in a runner-chaser dynamic, which is the wounded divine masculine, divine feminine. Like, so this is why I say divine masculine and divine feminine, they're not as big a thing as people say in terms of they can flip-flop. And the goal is actually to balance them out anyway. Like, we should all have yin-yang energy traits in the sense that we'd be a lot healthier the more balanced we are. I'm not trying to tell anyone what to do with their body, mind, spirit, emotions, but themselves, their being. But that's the point, is to reach balance within ourselves. And balance within ourselves will ultimately lead to balance with our twin flame. I'm not going to say it'll lead to union, but if you are a twin flame couple and that's both your goal, it will. Because if you have the commitment and the work's being done, it will happen. Anyway, hey, thanks for watching this video. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I will talk to you soon.